Welcome along to part 2 of the grip series. In this series I'm talking about the importance of the grip and hopefully going into a little bit more detail than just a generic hand placement on the golf club. I'll obviously come on to that and talk about that, but I just want to do a little bit of the fundamentals as to why we need to apply the grip in the way we do. So in part 1, if you haven't checked it out, check the link below. You'll be able to see some of the influences the grip has on the golf club. But today I wanted to talk to you about some of the forces and the pressures that are placed on the handle of the golf club and why the grip needs to be, in my opinion, in a certain way for us to get the most out of our swings and really give us the opportunity to develop our swing moving forwards. So I've got two gadgets here. One you'll recognise, that's the golf club, and one is a flexible bit of tubing with a 15 kilogram weight on the other end. I always talk about, in my coaching, the light end, which is the handle end, and the heavy end, which is the heavy end of the golf club, obviously the club head. And we've got this steel or graphite shaft that links the two. Many years ago, those of you that are new to the game or people that have been playing for a while, Vijay Singh used to swing a lead pipe. And for me, I think that was just quite a long way ahead of his years in terms of his understanding against everyone else's application. He was obviously a big guy in the gym, working himself hard, and perhaps he stumbled across some things and thoughts that inspired his lead pipe golf club. For me, it's all about making the golf club as heavy as you can handle. And I think that the lighter the golf club gets, the more opportunity we have of manipulating the golf club into positions that we believe to be true, but I don't think it necessarily makes you any more efficient or fundamentally proficient with your technique. So what I've done here is I've put a flexible bit of tubing, as I say, with 15 gram weight on it, to demonstrate what the golf club goes through when we're swinging it. When the club is on the floor and nothing is moving, we tend to have a very light handle. You can see that even with 15 kilos on the end, I can really grab that with very much ease in a single finger. As soon as I get the golf club moving, however, as soon as that golf club gets off of the floor, we can start to see the droop that we see in this bit of piping. Now, for me to hold that up, I'm having to push down with my left hand and pull up with my right hand to support it. Now, for the majority of golfers out there, they will drag and pull the golf club away. And of course, that is a very different initiation of a backswing. And it's also a very different firing of how your muscles are working in take back. So this is to show you that the energy and force that is going into the handle end at strike is akin to this 15 kilogram weight on the end of this flexible bit of tubing here. Because statically, the golf club is really quite light, but dynamically, we're starting to get to the sort of forces that we're seeing occur on this flexible bit of tubing here. And so to support that bit of tubing at the end, notably the top hand, the left hand, needs to be placed appropriately. And the pad of the left hand is, for me, is such an important part of how we stabilize the handle, how we move the club head away, and how we line the face up. The minute you start to corrupt and change your wrist angles through strike, which I see so many golf coaches inspiring, pushing the handle out to the right, really flexing wrist angles at the end to get the face square, is absolutely faulty. You are creating poor patterns of movement at high speed, at high force, because if you were moving this weight around and then you were trying to twist your wrists around, I don't know about you, but I'd find that incredibly difficult and possibly injurious, if that's such a word. So just to go back into the analogy of the weight at this end, obviously at the flexible end, the pressure I put with the pad of my left hand really gives me the opportunity to work the fingers of my right hand against each other. So this is how I'm trying to support it. Now, the minute I do that, I start to feel the load in my shoulders here. Forearms, obviously, are not lined up, but again, I've really exaggerated the weight. Of course, if I'm now trying to create a force and pressure down through the handle, my posture, which again is, we're going to have to talk about that obviously at a later stage, the orientation of this handle at address and how it moves through strike will be governed, one, by how the grip is placed and the orientation of the face, and two, how my contact with the floor is behaving to create better motion with my pelvis. Hip extension is another symptom of other ingredients in a golf swing, in my opinion. And when people say, and you see a video clip, stop your early extension. Well, if you're isolating early extension, you are missing other ingredients in my opinion. And so fixing early extension, again, is the symptom of the problem, not the problem itself. So hopefully you've appreciated that statically and dynamically the golf club behave very differently. They have an impact on the shaft, and they have a force and an action that is going on at the head end because of the fact that gravity is pulling the heavy end to the floor and what that's trying to do to the handle end. And as I say, that really impacts how we place the hand on the golf club, again, notably the left hand. So another bit of insight into why the grip is so important. If you've liked the video, hit the like button, share it, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Part 3 is coming your way, where I'll start to talk a little bit more about the grip itself.